the environment affects people. Your environment is everything that surrounds you. Different parts of the country have different environments. Some parts of the country have mountains. Some have oceans. Some have flatlands. Some have deserts. Others have lakes. Some are warm all year. Others get very cold. And the environment we live in affects how we live. How? Think about why people would live differently in different environments. The place someone lives affects the clothing they wear and the way they have fun. All of these children are outside in January. Why are they dressed so differently? These kids are dressed differently because they live in different parts of the country. What might someone who lives near the ocean do for fun? They could go swimming, surfing, or snorkeling. What might someone who lives near the mountains do for fun? They could go skiing or hiking. What might someone who lives on the plains do for fun? They might ride bike, go for walks, or ice skate. What might someone who lives on or near a lake do for fun? They could water ski. They could skate on the lake in the winter. They could tube, or they could swim. What might someone who lives on the cold ocean coast do for fun? They might sail, fish, or go rafting. What might someone who lives in the hot desert do for fun? They could hike in the cool evening hours. They could swim in a pool, or they could go horseback riding. This is the United States. The United States is broken into 5 different parts. We call these parts regions. The regions have different weather and environments. There's the ocean coast in the west. It doesn't get very hot in this part of the ocean. There are the mountains. There are the lakes. There are the plains. There is the rocky coast of the east. In this part of the coast, it doesn't get very warm. There are the mountains. There is the tropical coast. There is the desert. And there is the warm ocean front. All of these types of environments affect the people who live there. What would people do in each part of the United States? They could surf on the West Coast. They could hike in the mountains. They could ski in the mountains. They could skate on the plains. They could water ski on the lakes. They could swim in the lakes. They could take long walks or go for runs. They could go for bike rides. They could ice skate on the lakes. They could hike in the mountains of the east. They could ski in the mountains of the east. They could fish on the coast. They could go sailing on the coast. They could raft on the coast. They could swim in the warmer ocean. They could swim in pools in the south. These kids are enjoying cooling off in their pools in the desert. They could go horseback riding. They could swim in the ocean or snorkel. And they could surf on the west coast. All of these people participate in different activities for fun because of where they live. Look across the country. You notice that the activities are very different depending on where they live. This is because our environment around us affects how we live. Different environments affect the way people live in different parts of the country.